I'll now bring this regular meeting of the Jacksonville City Council to order. I want to welcome everyone who's come out for the meeting this evening, also those that be watching on the G10 channel. To begin with, we're going to start by having the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Robert Warden, followed by the invocation. Please rise.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to rejoice in your greatness and your majesty and your beauty, Lord. We just thank you for all of the opportunities that you give us, Lord, in this land. Lord, we know we're faced with challenges right now that are greater than each of us as individuals, but you bless us with the ability to have fellowship and be together in a community that cares. Lord, I ask for wisdom for our council and for our mayor as they make decisions that impact our community. And I ask for the grace and the guidance and for you to go before each and every one of us as we go our separate ways tonight and tomorrow, Lord, as we face challenges that we don't know what they're going to be, Lord, but that you provide us the knowledge and the power and the insight to be better, to make better decisions, to be compassionate of those that we interact with, Lord. We're so blessed to live in a place where we can make good decisions, and we just ask you, Lord, for your use and power to make us understand that we care for the people that we interact with, Lord. We thank you so much for the opportunity to be here tonight and for the ability to have this fellowship and this time together. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, before we adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting, I want to publicly note the addition of a closed session for the purpose of the session for three purposes, and it'd be under North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11, subsection 3, 5, and 6, specifically for the purpose of instructing staff on the council's position for acquisition of real property, for the purpose of consulting with an attorney to protect the attorney-client privilege and receiving legal advice, and for discussion of existing litigation, namely the lawsuit captioned CIG versus City of Jacksonville, and to consider the performance of an individual public officer or employee or prospective public officer or employee. With that addition.
Move approval of the agenda as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. We have our first section, public comment for the evening. No one has signed up, so we'll go on to adoption of the consent items. There's 4 consent items.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We're going to go to item number 5 on the agenda for tonight's meeting. And this is it's a legislative public hearing for a consolidated annual performance and evaluation report, or a CAPR, which Pam's going to present it tonight. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
So to come forth, we are discussing tonight our fiscal year 24-25 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, also known as CAPR, throughout the evening. Just to remind you, the Neighborhood Improvement Services, our mission is to ensure that we are allowing for public participation and implement community-based strategies that allows us to receive feedback from our citizens on how we're able to move forward throughout the year with our programs and our projects. The CAPR's intent is to give a description of how we have invested in geographic distribution of our resources made available, of basically what we've done throughout the year, how we have spent our community development block grant funds, our general funds that's been utilized as well, and to come back and report where have we ended the year. A community development block grant refresher. So it is a program that's administered by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. And when we are using those funds, we have to make sure that we meet the 3 national objectives. First one being benefit low and moderate income persons or an area, addressing slum and blight removal, or addressing an urgent need, whether it may be a tornado or in the past it's been COVID-19, where we receive funds for those. As we review what the CAPER stands for and what we have utilized the funds, this also gives you a brief overview of eligible activities that we can take into consideration. So there are specific funds that we can spend, and these are the activities that we have done in the past and also within this past year, whether it's acquiring or demolishing properties, helping with our public services, with our nonprofits, or in this current year, we've been working with economic development with a partnership that we'll talk about briefly. So here's our report. So for fiscal year 24 annual action plan performance, in clearance and demolition, we expected to demolish 3 properties, and we were able to achieve 3 properties demolished. Residential rehab, we had a goal of 4 housing units at a budget of $113,000. We actually received 3 applications to do rehab. And I want to preference that receiving the applications is actually going to catapult us into our current year, where we have actually accomplished one of those rehabs taking place. So we have some things that the applications have been submitted, but it will further move us forward in this current year. Acquisition of property, we had a goal of 3, we purchased 1. And our nonprofit public services, our goal was to have 100 homeless persons assisted. Out of the nonprofits that we partnered with, we actually assisted 571. And that's being able to provide our community development block grant funds with our grants, partner with Onslow Community Outreach, Onslow Women's Center, and Williams Outreach as well.
Could I ask a question right here?
Yes, sir.
Was the 100 based on historical and 571, is that indicative of a worsening problem, perhaps?
No, sir, I wouldn't say it's indicative of a worsening problem. 100 is the goal that we look at from the organizations that may apply for funding. So whenever we're able to see that more organizations have applied for funding, that gives us an opportunity to assist more people.
But I will say this, Bob, Councilman Warder, is that it is a worsening problem, or the problem's getting worse. And because I work with a lot of other nonprofits, so especially with Veterans of the Carolinas and their group, Benji Horton, I talked to him quite a bit. The issue is getting a lot worse. I know there are more people coming from up north down here, so it is a worsening problem, even though those numbers isn't indicative to the issue.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Drafton, I have a question for you. With regards of the homelessness population that we've been able to help, can you identify some of those non-traditional individuals who are now categorized as homelessness?
To clarify for our non-traditional, with the recent changes that we've had in our market, your homeless population definition has definitely changed. It is your unhoused person that is absolutely living in a car currently. With our rental properties having increases and houses not being available for those to rent in, your unhoused person is now falling into your homeless count as well. So you may have people that are working every day 8 to 5, but unfortunately there's not housing available for them. So we are taking every opportunity to work with our nonprofits to see what opportunities we can make available.
Are we also including military, active duty?
They could potentially fall in there. With our homeless population, our agencies, they utilize a system that they do have to place everyone in, but it is an automatic presumed benefit. So that person could be a 30,000 plus, 65,000 plus person that's working every day, but because they are considered unhoused, they now fall into that homeless population.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So this is an example of demolition, not an example, but an actual project that we did take care of this year. You may have recognized this property on our main thoroughfare coming into Jacksonville. This is what it's looked like in its before status. And upon completion, that is what we leave when we complete the project. And that was actually our 178th demolition after we have kept track since 2010. This is a property that we have acquired in Belfort Homes Acquisition, and we are in the process of doing renovations and rehab to this home currently. And once the rehab is complete, this will now be a home that is available for our future homeowners. Okay, second half of our report, our nonprofit public services, homelessness prevention, 20 persons, we actually was able to achieve with 30. And homelessness prevention is different from the homeless count. Prevention itself is those persons that are facing eviction. So they have been able to work, but unfortunately, that specific month, they fell on hard times, and our nonprofit agency was able to provide them with funds to avoid eviction. Or we also had somebody that was able to find housing, but unfortunately, due to the lifestyles and working daily and taking care of their daily expenses, they were not able to have the funds available for deposits, first month's rent, utilities, and these funds are able to assist those persons. Homeownership assistance, we had a goal of 2 households at $50,000. We were able to assist 2 households at $31,000. Affordable housing rental, our multifamily units, we have 12 units proposed, and we're currently working with that contractor now and having those units being built. And economic development, 3 businesses. This was one of our newer initiatives, and we partnered with Genesis Block, who is currently working with small businesses and getting them established. And so we will look to have more businesses assisted in this year to be able to continue to work with small business owners that are looking to establish themselves and just need that technical assistance to move forward. Homeownership, you may remember that this was 112 and 114 Cox Avenue that we had available last year. We've actually sold both units. So both of those units have now sold. And proud to say that we have 410 Ann Street available and 408 Ann Street. And in about, I'll give you a few days, we'll have only one of those available. So keep an eye out for that contract. All right. All right, so 410 and 408 Ann Street is part of our homeownership properties. They are both 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathrooms at $208,650. And the great thing about this program with our downtown initiative and houses that we have available is we have our buyers that are going through the home buyer education courses. They are coming through our money management classes, and then they're moving forward with the housing counseling services to be able to go from I want to purchase a home to congratulations, you're a homeowner. Our last home buyer that we went through started the process in March, and she closed at the end of July. So we tell every buyer that as long as you are ready to move forward, we're going to help you move forward. All right, this kind of breaks down the funds. So our total resources available was $1,375,000, and this includes prior year resources. Total expenditures for the year, $848,000. Low mod benefits specifically, $739,000, and our current year program income was $434,000. So these are the additions of funds cumulatively that we receive in addition to our entitlement grant that allows us to move forward with all the projects that you just saw. And just to bring back to your remembrance, our current initiatives, again, we're looking at housing rehab opportunities with owner-occupied properties. Down payment assistance allows us to do up to $25,000. We also have a partnership with North Carolina Housing Finance Agency that allows us to tap into upwards of $50,000 for down payment assistance. Our home buyer education, which also includes our housing counseling services, clearance and demolition, acquisitions, and again, our partnerships that we have with our nonprofits. And just for announcement purposes, we have 2 classes remaining this year for our home buyer education. Next Saturday, September 27th and November 8th. Each class is $25 per person. You only have to attend 1 home buyer education course. Our money management, we have 2 more, October 11th and December 13th. And lastly, one of our initiatives that allows us to move forward in the community is our Community Fall Refresh. This is an opportunity where we have gone into our community. We did it in spring, where these past pictures are from. And for those residents who are unable to take care of their yard and just need some light landscaping, we're able to partner with volunteers of the community and other citizens in the neighborhood to be able to help our citizens for that day. I'll turn over to you, Mayor.
Excuse me a
Yes,
minute.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question right quick. Going back to the acquisition of the house and on Kent Drive,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
noticed that there was a ramp that was built on the outside of the house. Currently with HUD guidelines, is there any language with regards to housing having to meet the guidelines for ADA accessibility, particularly if you have a first home buyer that may have a disability? Is there anything within the language that says that you have to build a house with ADA accommodations, or is that a case-by-case situation?
Case by case. And in this particular acquisition, we will remove that ramp because it does need to be removed at the time. However, going to our rehab program, if we are, our main demographics are our seniors that we do rehab work with. And our ultimate goal is to make sure that we're providing an opportunity for them to age in place. So if we can go in and identify there are some ADA needs, then we'll go ahead and put that in our scope of work.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jackson.
Do you all keep in mind that, well, I'll mention this, when you have seniors or maybe veterans, I know with the veterans program, you can actually, they have grants for alteration. So, you know, if that does come up, keep that in mind, okay? But the other question was, I want to go back in terms of the funds that you now have. You know, the slide that,
The resources?
right.
I think media is clicking. This one.
Okay.
Okay.
How much would the resource available? Because some of that is the amount of money that's come back based on mortgage payments, correct? Or
Well-
completion.
That particular fund would be within our program income.
Okay.
So any loans that we've given in the past would be our program income for the current year. Resources available will include any past grant funds that we still have available to spend. We keep that in calculation with our current entitlement grant as well.
And how much are we given now out of general fund money to help fund for this issue? Are we given any?
Nothing in this area.
Nothing.
I mean, we give general fund money for partnerships. So some of our private-public partnerships are funded with general fund money. But, you know, there's specific, this money is used for those specifically authorized HUD activities.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe it's something we need to consider going forward.
And we do take that into consideration as well. As Mr. Massey was saying, with our nonprofits, we do have the $77,000 that we utilize to continue with our partnerships in the community. And we do keep lines of communication open as well, that if we can tap into general funds, we put those pleas out there as well, so we can make it more and better.
I believe that's an item that we'll talk at the post-budget retreat on the whole idea of, you know, we centralize applying for funding from the city through our process, and we do need to look back at what kind of demand are we seeing and what funding's available and from what sources.
Yeah, because like we said, the problem is getting worse. And if we could stop, we might need to look at areas where we can keep people in houses and working. We got to do a whole lot better working in collaboration. We do good, but even with the reentry program, and we talked before, reentry is reentry, and sometimes these collaborations just help in so many different ways. First of all, a lot of people don't even know what we do have available in terms of collaboration, but we also need to try to keep on strengthening that bond to try to, work together for the greater of the community. But I definitely appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Definitely do.
Any other questions for Ms. Trafton?
One more question. With regards to HUD funding, do they require you to spend your monies down to zero and then basically give you a new budget, or are you able to roll over funding from year to year?
We do have a timeliness requirement, so we have whatever our entitlement grant is for the current year, 1.5 times that grant amount is what is allowed to be in our wallet, so to speak. Of course, we want less, but we definitely have to meet that timeliness requirement first to make sure that we do not have more than 1.5 of our current grant funds available.
The grants, we get them each fiscal year, and those grants have so many years before they're expired. So we can spend out of multiple years grants, but they have to be on activities that are included in that grant agreement, so to speak. So we have to, if we didn't spend, like, for example, some of the housing down payment money, if that came out of HUD, and we have some left from an older fiscal year, we need to try and spend that, so we can close that grant. It's similar to a lot of federal funding programs. You get to carry more, but, what Pam mentioned on the timeliness means they look at the total balance of what we've got, so you can't just hoard the money. And you get penalized in your current year in their allocation if, in fact, you haven't spent within that balance limit.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right,
Very
so-
thorough report.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
And then we have to turn over for a public hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Okay, there is a public hearing required on this matter, so this time I'll recess the regular council meeting and open up a public hearing. Is there anyone present who wishes to speak to this item on the agenda? Anybody? All right, we'll close the public hearing. Council, you've been asked to approve the submission of the CAFR before the close, by the end of the closing of the public comment period on September 22nd, and then before the deadline on the 28th of September.
Mayor Phelps, I make a motion that we approve of the fiscal year 24-25 capital report ending September 22nd, 2025, and before September 28th of 2025 deadline.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Let's go down to number 6 here. And this is a quasi judicial hearing that's going to be on this one. Just if I can get this thing to work right. No. This is for a special use permit and type 3 site plan for Gateway Drive. This is a self-storage facility at 108 Gatewood Drive, and Ryan King will be presenting this item. Ryan.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for allowing me to present this to you tonight. Item 6 is a request, as the mayor just mentioned, for a special use permit and type 3 site plan approval for Gateway Drive CCSS, which is a self-service storage facility located at 108 Gateway Drive. MV Investment has submitted this request, which is for 102,281 square foot self-service facility. It'll be 3 stories tall. The tract of land before you is located on Gateway Drive South. It's 2.14 acres, directly behind the Kimbrell's Furniture and across the street from Marine Chevrolet, just to kind of orient the mayor and council and those that are watching possibly on G10. The property is zone corridor commercial, and so are the adjoiners, with the exception of the property to the north, which is currently owned by the city of Jacksonville. That's the Linfield Point apartment project that's currently going through a review process. I do know the representatives of NV Investment as well as Linfield Park Apartments have been in discussion, so they are aware of both one another's projects, interestingly enough. The property, since this is a public hearing, we have posted the signage and sent the adjoiners letters as required by the general statutes, and we've also placed a legal ad in the newspaper. Before you on the screen, this is a copy of the site plan that still has a few items that are outstanding, which is why we've recommended condition, which we'll get to that in a minute. But it's a 3-story facility. The facility will look like this here. This is the elevation drawings that the applicant has provided. I'm not sure what brand of car that is. It kind of looks like a Bronco there in front of the building. But the picture on the left is what you would see if you're leaving the Commons headed towards Western, and the other photos if you're coming into the Commons from Western immediately behind the Kimbrells. This meets the City of Jacksonville's Unified Development Ordinance design standards for commercial uses. As you'll see on the screen, the project site for our CAMA plan is identified as regional commercial, and the self-service mini storage is a compatible use within that district. The planning board, along with staff, recommended approval, or we are recommending approval based on the findings of fact A through G being found in the affirmative, conditioned upon the TRC comments being addressed prior to the final site plan approval. We believe this project offers a commercial resource to the community. The developers did resubmit plans yesterday, and it's going back through, there were several TRC members that had to go through that and re-review it. So hopefully we'll get that squared away, and that's why we're recommending approval with a condition. Be happy to answer any questions. I do know that representatives that are here tonight with NV Investment, I'm sure they'll speak during the public comment session, but I did want to let you know that they are in attendance. Be happy to answer any questions the mayor and council may have at this time.
Okay. We'll go ahead and recess the council meeting and open up the public hearing on this matter. Ryan, no questions, anybody? Okay, thank you. Please state your name and address for the clerk, please. And if you would, raise your...
Good evening.
You swear the information you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, go right
My
ahead.
name is Aaron Rowley with NV Investment. I'm a representative of the developer for the storage facility, and just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that I'm here to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right. Thank you, sir.
Great.
Anybody else present wishes to speak to this matter? All right, Councilor, you're being asked to approve the site plan and the special use permit.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the special use permit and the Type 3 site plan being found, findings of fact A through G being found in the affirmative, and condition upon the TRC conditions being met, and that this is a commercial resource benefit to the community.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Brings us to item number 7, excuse me. This is a Unified Development Ordinance text amendment. This amends the amendment to Articles 2.3, which is standards and requirements for development applications, and 5.4 for fences and walls.
Media, can you take me to the, somehow we got advanced to the end. There we go, thank you. So thank you, Mayor and Council, once again. Agenda item 7 is a staff-initiated Unified Development Ordinance text amendment that focuses on 2 sections of the UDO specifically, Articles 2.3 and Articles 5.4. This is actually something that we discussed with the Planning Board in a workshop session in August, and then we brought this back to them last week. It is going to make 2 two primary adjustments. The first part in Article 2.3 is there's a part in the code where it says that driveway permits are exempt from zoning requirements or zoning permits. But there's actually standards both in the MSSD City Code and the Unified Development Ordinance, so we want to strike that exemption because it kind of paints an incorrect picture that there is a permit that's necessary. We've had driveway permits forever, so just to kind of clear that up. So that's the 2.3 standard. And then on the, as stated there at the last bullet, this will eliminate confusion and that conflict. And the other items, which is the bigger part, is Article 5.4, fences and walls. Specifically, we want to adjust the corner lot situation. So this will allow, if amended, will allow for 4-foot fences to go to 6 feet within that 15-foot setback on corner yards. And I'll show you a diagram of it in just a minute. That we believe will eliminate some nonconformities in town. It will create some opportunities for our citizens that they don't currently have since the adoption of the Unified Development Ordinance. So the existing diagram on the left, you'll see that the red line down that side boundary, I guess annotation, let's see, get the annotation on. Right now, the fence that goes down this side here has to be 15 feet off of the property boundary. We're proposing to allow it to go on that property boundary. So that'll give a corner yard additional area that they can fence in their rear yard. And the other thing this does is it more accurately reflects the 10 by 70 site triangle, more so than our current diagram. So that's why the triangle looks a little different, excuse me, than the current diagram. That's really the main difference with this text amendment. We would suggest or ask the council to, if you look at the ordinance, under the 5.4, under number 3, you can see that we basically recommended that we strike through just the lower portion. We would actually suggest that underneath number 2, height, we would actually suggest that we go ahead and eliminate all of number 3. That is not something that the planning board considered, but the intent, based on what we talked about with the planning board, the diagrams that we showed them, we think that just striking all of number 3 would be what we would ask council to amend the ordinance to include that striking. That way there's not confusion on whether you can go to that 6-foot height or not. So be happy to answer any questions that the council may have. As stated, this was recommended approval by both staff and the planning board. And we believe, as you'll find in the recommendation, that this is consistent with the CAMA policy, CAMA Plan Policy 38.2, that we believe this amendment is reasonable and within the interest of the public.
Well, I know some corner lot owners that are going to be real happy to get their whole backyard.
Any other questions of Ryan? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So at this time, we'll recess the regular meeting, open up a public hearing on this matter. Anyone present wishes to speak to this agenda item? All right, seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing, open back up the regular meeting, and council, you're being asked to approve this text amendment.
Mayor Phillips, I make a motion that council approves the proposed amendment as it is consistent with the adopted CAMA plan and that it is reasonable within the public interest.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. It takes us to agenda item number 8 this evening, and this is the parking lot lease between the City of Jacksonville and Rotary Foundation.
Thank you, Mayor. For the FY26 budget, City Council adopted initiatives to guide the development of the budget and to direct staff on the priorities for the year. One of those initiatives was downtown development. So part of that downtown development is to figure out how the city can be a partner in making our downtown a more vibrant and active area inside of our community. You'll notice on the screen here, we have the new Bridge Street Revitalization Project. This was phase 1 in our revitalization efforts. We worked through this process to make sure that we were improving the infrastructure, to make sure that we're creating a space where our businesses can thrive and our citizens feel safe and welcomed. And one of the challenges that we saw, even though we created all of this new angle parking that you see here, is to develop downtown parking. So part of our our discussions that we've had with multiple partners are, where is the best place for our citizens to park so that they can get to these businesses? Our challenge as a public entity is to try and create parking that allows people to access business development, because if they don't have a place to park, we feel that they may not be able to visit some of the stores located along this beautiful New Bridge Street corridor. What we found out is we have a partner in the Rotary Foundation who is located at 804 New Bridge Street. Rotary sat down with us and talked about opportunities for us to partner for their parking lot to become public parking. What we came up with, and we've been working through over a period of time, is the lease agreement that we've included in your agenda packet. That agreement is between the Rotary Foundation and the city. It covers a 10-year period where the city will lease that parking lot for public parking for downtown. That's the restriction, is that it's a public parking facility. Anyone that wants to use that space can use that space. What the city's going to do as part of our lease is we're going to provide the improvements that are needed for that parking lot so that it brings it up to a standard where people can put their vehicles there and feel comfortable about parking in that space. You'll notice that the agreement includes a not-to-exceed cost of approximately $127,000. That's what we'll put into that. We'll go through a formal process as we do with all of our projects. We'll bid out the project. We'll select a contractor. They'll come in and do the work based on our project guidelines. And we expect that this will be a great addition to this area to have the parking lot behind Rotary for that space. You'll see on the map here, this is the parking lot behind the 804 New Bridge Street Rotary Foundation building. They also have the parking lot located on the side close to West Bayshore Boulevard. That's something that we're going to talk to them about as well. But right now, we're talking about the parking lot directly behind their building. A large space. I think we can expect anywhere between 52 to 60 parking spaces in that area. And I think that location is amenable to multiple businesses in the downtown district. There are other areas in downtown that we want to work with some partners on, but this would be the first project that we have that we're bringing to council. So if council approves of this agreement, then we'll move forward with some other dialogues that we're having with property owners in the downtown area. This way, we're looking for options that are more financially feasible than other options, which may be parking decks that we know this $127,000 is approximately one parking space inside of a parking deck. So we're trying to bring these options now, because as New Bridge and downtown continues to develop, we're going to need additional parking throughout this area. What you see here is a design from Wally's team that shows that parking space. It has landscaping because we wouldn't want to go and do a nice project on New Bridge Street and then do a parking lot that doesn't have similar type of landscaping. We want to make this all flow into New Bridge atmosphere. And so this is the setup that we've proposed. There's the alleyway there, and you'll see the speed hump in that back area too. But we're really confident that we can go in and do a good project that will add to the utility of downtown. Stand for any questions on this, Mayor. We're asking that if council is good with it to approve the agreement, but I can answer any questions throughout this process.
Any questions?
I have one, sir.
Yes,
Mr. Ray, in reviewing this agreement, I did not see any, it looks like it's 24/7, 365 public parking that's been resolved. There's not special times that it's, no
That's correct.
exceptions?
So one of the dialogue that we had with the Rotary Foundation was we want to create public parking. So Rotary has events that they have that would require parking. Part of that challenge is if we create public parking, then we want to make it accessible to everyone at any time. If you want to monitor parking, then you really take away the public access by putting up barriers, barricades. You could put some type of different apparatus there that would block it off. It just doesn't make it function for downtown public parking at all times. So in the beginning stages, we did have that dialogue. Fortunately, both Rotary and the city in our dialogues have said, let's work without this. If there's some kind of challenge in the future that doesn't work out, bring that back. But as I said, I think what this does is it gives us a good start, and then we can develop some other properties in the area. We'd like to say that we're going to come back to council to consider 2 or 3 other parking lots that we could partner with them, but we just don't have those yet. So at this time, this is the agreement that we have.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Anybody else? I got a question for you. All right, so you're operating at 24/7, but you've got several places over there that their employees currently use other parking lots. Let's say, for instance, if it were to happen where that one place would close down or they're parking elsewhere, and they decided to start parking in that parking lot to go to work, does that not present a problem?
Mayor, it will present a problem, but in the terms of policing the parking lots, this is going to be, they're going to be open spaces without restrictions, no matter where it's at. We see that a lot now in City Hall, where other people use our parking lot for parking, and where our people go over to park in other areas. As those businesses develop, we know we're going to need additional spaces, but we just don't have any other restrictions into this area.
I was really just talking specifically about right over here in this next lot over here with the post office, where they're using that as a parking lot. I know the county has plans for that lot.
Yeah, all we can hope at this time, Mayor, is until that develops, they continue to use that. But as we see with that neighbor, they use our parking space, they use New Bridge Street, and if they wanted to park over there, they would do so. We'll continue to have those dialogue, Mayor, with them, so hopefully we can create an opportunity so that they can take care of their employees at the same time.
Thank you.
Well, in downtown, I mean, that's an issue in most places is parking, right? So people just try to park where they can and get where they got to go. So, I mean, it's just part of the territory being downtown.
And if you think about it, so we have public parking now, which is called City Hall, and then we have public parking that's all along New Bridge Street. We also have public parking next to the gas station. City owns a lot there, so there's parking there. If you want to park there and walk down to 1940 Bistro, you can do that. It's just you're going to walk a couple of blocks to get to that location. So we just have to find the opportunity where, as we get more businesses and we create a parking problem, it's going to be a positive thing, and then it's going to be a challenge. So there's some other building owners that are already in talks with us to say they want to maximize the utility behind their buildings. So I think you're on the right path that we're going to be able to solve it. We're just going to have to work with those partners. It's not going to be a city-owned solution, that's for sure.
Yeah. What about, have we had any problems with overnight parking in any of our current lots? And would, you know, what would we do if we did have an issue?
Mayor, to this point, I'm not aware of any overnight parking problems in this lot or the one across the street. However, this location might be a little different just because of the lighting in the area. I'm not sure if there's any struggles now with people leaving vehicles there, leaving maybe any other equipment in those spaces. But they're not illegal. So until we start posting some restrictions that say there's no overnight parking in these spaces, it's not an issue that we're dealing with now. We will have a dialogue with Chief Phelps and find out if we've had any concerns. But at this point, I'm not aware of any issues. We'd have to address it when it comes up, and then we'd have to restrict parking in those spaces, and I think that makes it a challenge. That's why we've presented something, back to Ms. Edwards' question, presented something that really doesn't have those restrictions so that it's open at all times.
Well, having the landscaping in the middle, that'll kind of restrict some of the larger vehicles from parking overnight, so.
I think the alleyway will restrict some of that access as well. So there's some challenges there for if we're talking about a motor home trying to come in or pulling a boat, leaving it there. I hope it's a good start.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. Ray.
Thanks, Mayor.
Being asked to authorize the city manager to designate a representative or his designated representative to execute the proposed parking lot lease agreement.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. That brings us to our reports for this evening. I'll start with Mr. Warden.
Proud to be here, Mayor. No report.
Proud to have you.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Dr. Washington.
No report.
Mayor Pro Tem Bittner.
No report.
Mr. Sosa.
No report.
Mr. Jackson.
First of all, I'd like to say that I actually had a couple of conversations with some of the folks we would consider homeless or unhoused. And especially on Sunday, I was talking to a gentleman, and he was just looking off into the woods, sitting on his Harley Davidson. I just walked up to him and asked him if anything was okay. And he went through and started telling me some of the things that was going on with him. He had to get out of the house that he was in because of domestic, I'll say more of a conversation, and he had to get out for a couple of days. I remember talking to another young man that he ended up in a situation, he just thought it would be easier after he was divorced to just leave all of his stuff with his wife, and he ended up out there. But there's also so many people that do have mental health issues or other issues that maybe, you know, in the mornings people are put out of the shelter and they have to be back by 6. I think it has an opportunity to some of our nonprofits if we could start the conversation or find out a way to work with the nonprofits that are in communication with individuals that may be houseless, to see what resources they may need. So instead of people just ending up out on the streets or on public property somewhere, you know, using their cell phones because they don't know what else they can do, especially on a Sunday, maybe we could find out a different way to deal with those decisions, those issues. Also, we had a joint city-county meeting, and that was another opportunity for us to partner up to make the future of Jacksonville better. And lastly, I went to a youth council meeting, and I can see that the future is in good hands, but I told those young folks that maybe they need to attend some of our council meetings to make sure we don't mess up their future. That's all, Mayor.
Mr. Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. We did have a good city-county meeting last week. Very exciting to meet with the county. Mr. Jackson said it great. These are partnerships where we're going to have a lot of success moving forward. And if we're going to make things happen, if we're going to check off the list of the items that the citizens and the council pull together, it's going to come through partnerships. So when you hear Ms. Trafton's report tonight, you hear the comments that Mr. King has made, and then you think about the things that we're doing. Without these partners, I continue to say we're going to struggle to make those dreams that Mr. Jackson's talking about come true. This first item, Mayor, for our One City Moment, Patriot Day, that's a partnership for us. It's a day of remembrance in our community, and it happens because the Onslow Civic Affairs Committee has said we will remember, and then as the mayor tells us in a lot of the ceremonies, we never forget. And on Patriot Day, we're talking about the events that happened on 9/11, and we're remembering all the people that lost their lives during these terrorist attacks. Onslow Civic Affairs Committee pulls this event together every year, and it's a very moving experience, but it's an event that brings people together to think about who we are, what we're doing, and what's happened to us as a country. There's a lot of partners that make it happen. You'll see the Jacksonville Police Department, the Fire Department, the Youth Council, city staff. Lisa and her team do an excellent job of bringing this together over time. I know when you're listening to some of this narration, I know that we hear Mr. Jackson, we hear Dr. Washington, we hear Ms. Edwards, Lisa. There's a lot of voices and people that do the work before we get there. And so on this date, you had the 2nd Marine Division Band, Jacksonville High School Chamber Strings, and the Dixon High School Chamber Choir. And then you have a lot of our citizens who are there. This picture here to talk about the spirit of an entire nation. That's what 9/11 does for us, and it's that day of remembrance so that we know things can happen and we have to respond as a community to take care of our own. So to have this event here in our community is a great place to be. Mayor, the other item that we have here is United Way. It's another partner that we continuously bring up. They're doing things in and around the community. They're trying to do big things all the time. They have events. They're trying to do fundraisers. The United Way hosted a kickball tournament, which benefits the United Way. So they're raising money for their efforts. And their efforts they grow every single day. For this occasion, Chief Tallman is right here in the middle, and I would say this looks like an entire team of Jacksonville's finest firefighters, and they were victorious. I don't see any police officers there, Mayor, so I don't know if they even competed. If they did, it probably wouldn't have worked out well. This big trophy goes to only the winners, so with all these other teams that competed, it was our team, you see the shirt there, that came out on top, and so it's a great thing for our fire department to actively be in the community. You see police and fire who are stepping out, being partners throughout the community, because people want to see us there. And then there's this guy again. He always shows up with a trophy and a smile. I'm just saying, Chief Tallman's leadership is excellent, and it's nice to know that we're there with the United Way to be a partner in their efforts and to bring the community together, because when our fire department shows up, the community shows up to support them. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session. As
Second.
all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, let's go ahead and take a little break.